In 2002 I was a 12-year-old kid. I was trudging to school from dawn till dusk, but I was glad to have at least some kind of education in the old country of the Czech Republic. One day, I was just on my break. A friend brought something wild to school. A Czech game about gangsters called Mafia, the City of Lost Heaven, developed by Illusion Softworks, a local studio. My buddies and I were thrilled. We each bought 3 blank CD-ROMs for like 10 cents a piece, and our friend burned a pirated copy of the game onto them, complete with a crack and all, because in that good old times we all lived at the edge between order and crime.
Hey boy, or girl. Before we continue with the story, I have a very friendly request for you. Like, comment and subscribe, because otherwise you might receive an unfriendly visit. Now, let's get on with the video, shall we?
I rushed home, buzzing with excitement, popped the discs into my computer one by one, installed the game and...
Just forget about it.
It wouldn't run. Mafia was one of the most, if not the most graphically demanding game of its time. And my PC was just an old office machine from my dad's work. I had to dip deep into my allowance to upgrade my computer just to get the game to start. And I did. The beginning of the game gave me goosebumps. The camera flying through the living, sprawling American city with a monumental piece of orchestra music. And then the game actually started. And this is what my first experience with the game was. To this day, I have no idea what the black square at the bottom of the screen was about. So I stuttered through the American town half blind, and I loved every second of it. Back then, open world games were quite a new concept, at least for us, 12-year-old brats in a European high school. However, in 201 and 202, two groundbreaking open world titles, Grand Theft Auto 3 and Mafia, hit the scene in quick succession. There still could be debate about who copied from whom. I, naive as I might be, believe it was all a coincidence. Rockstar Games, the guys behind GTA, were no strangers to open worlds, and the early 2000s technology finally allowed them a leap into the third dimension. Meanwhile, Illusion Softworks, a group of young Czech developers, wanted to craft a complex gangster story, and the sprawling American city felt like the natural setting for it. We'll never know if Mafia, which still managed to carve out a special place in gamers' hearts, could have had an even bigger impact had it not launched just months after the open world juggernaut GTA 3. For me though, GTA 3 didn't hold a candle to Mafia.
Who's your daddy?
Its comic style, lack of an engaging story and repetitive missions couldn't compete with Mafia's depth and realism. I had been playing games before Mafia. I'd played games like Croc, Doom, and even the original Tomb Raider, but those were exaggerated, stylized worlds. Mafia was different. It felt grounded, real, like nothing I'd seen before. And there was something else. Mafia was our game. My 12-year-old friends and I couldn't have been prouder that our fellow Czechs created this gem. To us, it felt like we made it.
We won, Flanders, we won!
I didn't know what the game's director Daniel Vavra looked like until years later, when his larger-than-life personality hit social media as Kingdom Come Deliverance started to be a thing. But in my mind, though, he was a hero, a god among mates. The Czech dubbing, featuring well-known movie and voice actors, added to the pride. Only later, after replaying the game countless times and trying the English voice acting, did I realize how much more fitting it was and how much it enhanced the American gangster movie vibe.
Me and Tom will fix it. Do those bastards think this is freaking Luna Park or something? I'll rip them apart with my own hands.
Mafia hit differently. It was made for us. So, since my allowance had been dried up, I took all the money I earned in my summer job and upgraded my computer again. And the game finally ran smoothly, at least in indoor shooting levels, though open world sections were still choppy. Mafia, the City of Lost Heaven, follows the story of Thomas Angelo, a young cabbie in a fictional city inspired by Chicago during the 1920s and 1930s. One night, he's forced to give an unintentional ride to two mobsters, sparking a chain of events that pulls him into the Salieri crime family, battling the rival Morel gang for control of the city. The game doesn't mess around. It's not trying to be fun, at least not from the beginning. You start with mundane cabbie chores, progress to taunting rivals by smashing their cars, then escalate to sabotage, bribery, and even eliminating troublesome politicians. Every detail screams realism. No walled markers, just a map you have to check manually. Speeding or running red lights gets you fined. And a few bullets can end you, with no difficulty options. And then there's the infamous racing mission.
I'm gonna kill myself!
A Dark Soul level challenge of 2000's open world games. Fair play. I can't imagine how many keyboards fell victim to it. Years later, the developers released a patch to lower its difficulty, but it was too little too late. I personally, in my countless runs, never beat the mission legitimately.
Pussy.
I relied on a shortcut discovered by desperate players, and I'm still not sure if it was intentional. I've completed Mafia more times than I can count. I grew up with the game. It is my youth. It saw me through puberty, through first loves and first heartbreaks. It experienced my first hangover with me and my first dance. It was there through all the times that shape a young human being. It became my Christmas game, a tradition to replay every holiday season. It sparked my fascination with gangster stories, leading me to classics like The Godfather. Only later I realized that Mafia leans less on Puzo's and Coppola's themes of honor and family values, and more on the raw, violent worlds of Scorsese and De Palma.
Being a gangster was better than being president of the United States.
Say hello to my little friend!
It's a tale of violence, betrayal, and most of all, greed.
So like I always say, better to die young and loaded.
8 years later, in 2010, Mafia 2 finally arrived. My computer could finally run it decently on low settings, no slideshow this time. The story of Vito Scaletta, a World War II veteran, and his best friend Joe Barbaro climbing the ranks of the Falcone crime family in Empire Bay, a fictional New York, started quite strong. Like the first game, it eased you into the character's struggles rather than throwing you into chaos right from the bat.
Away from Sicily, across the ocean, to start a new life in America.
But as the game progressed, something felt off. I can best describe it with the famous horse meme. After a gripping start and action-packed middle, it rushed to a sudden conclusion after about 10 or 11 hours of gameplay. Something was fishy.
That means Luca Brasi sleeps with the fishes.
Illusion Softworks, the Czech studio behind the original, was acquired by 2K Games in 2008, leading to creative clashes with the lead designer Daniel Vávra. He struggled with the studio's restructuring and 2K's meddling in creative decisions. Vávra left in 2009 after 2K scratched his complete Mafia 3 script, which for him was the last drop.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
And he went on to found Warhorse Studios and kickstart a project from the middle-aged Bohemia, Kingdom Come Deliverance. Without him, the team struggled to finish Mafia 2, cutting significant content in the second half and rushing to the credits. Don't get me wrong, Mafia 2 isn't a bad game, but you can feel the shift between Vávra's vision and the final product. Speaking of bad games,
It's a damn shame what happened. It breaks my heart.
Lincoln Clay's story set in New Bordeaux, a fictional New Orleans, was the final nail in the franchise's coffin for many. It felt like an Ubisoft-style gangster game. Gone was the realism of its predecessors, replaced by an arcadey mob-tale. Some say the game's story was actually pretty okay, but how should I know when it was buried under a pile of repetitive chores? To unlock each story mission, you had to slog through tedious, Ubisoft-esque tasks, bloating the game into a monotonous grind. I forced myself through it once and never looked back. Through the years, I dreamed of a modern remake or remaster of the original Mafia. I wanted to revisit my childhood with upgraded graphics and gameplay. But I thought it was too niche, too meaningless to happen. Well, I was wrong. When the Mafia Definitive Edition trailer dropped, I leapt out of my chair. No game meant more to me to see remade. Released in 2020, the remake was a day one purchase for me, and it was perfect. It was a loving homage to the original, with stunning visuals, a smooth control scheme, and even thoughtful story improvements that enhance the flow without betraying its roots. And in my native Czech version of the game, most of the original voice actors returned to breathe new life into this heartfelt project. Those who, sadly, are no longer with us were replaced with very worthy successors. I wandered familiar streets, reconnected with old friends, and heard long-forgotten songs, all in a gorgeous new package. While the Demon's Souls remake was impressive, I never played the original, so Mafia Definitive Edition, emotionally, not rationally, is the greatest remake ever made to me. And now I am eagerly awaiting the next chapter, fingers crossed for another gem. And what's your take on the Mafia series? Tell me in the comments and consider a like and subscribe. See you in the next one.